What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Tuesday, December 28th, 2021. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope your week's off to a great start so far. Tuesday, Mars Day, Mars on Antares. We got Venus, Mercury, Pluto together. We got the moon finishing up in Libra and coming into Scorpio. It's a penetrating Tuesday, to say the least. Let's look at the horoscope and kind of piece it apart, take it apart, put it back together. I don't know, put some words to it at least, at the very least. The sun's at 7 degrees of Capricorn. This is some mystical sea goat degree, if you will. It's also Pluto at 25, so there's this 7 energy that is taking place in Capricorn about our structures and how we're defining our structures and making decisions based off sort of this bigger calling. There's something more. What are we trying to do, and how are we making decisions that feel guided, that feel very aligned? That moon in Libra is definitely looking for alignment as it finishes up in Libra, and today it will make the squares over to Venus, Pluto, Mercury to start the day. So very definitely getting deep into our relationships. Venus is retrograde, of course, with Pluto. I mean, there's so much about relationships right now, and it could be the relationship to the mission, the relationship to jobs, to people. I mean, I think people get brought up big time, especially with Jupiter on its final day. Jupiter actually does ingress on this Tuesday evening into Pisces because Jupiter's going, 11 minutes of geometry a day? And it's 5. So by late tonight, Jupiter will ingress into Pisces, and the moon's going to trine that before that happens from Libra to Aquarius at that 29th degree. It's so much about this Tuesday is this penetrating aspect of finding balance and alignment with the people in our lives, with our innovations, with our genius. There's a lot of understanding, and that comes through decisions and taking responsibility for the highest alignment, the mystical alignment. But it's also having us really look very deeply into ourselves, and that moon does come into Scorpio to finish off the day, and it will still be in that trine a little bit with Jupiter when Jupiter comes into its home sign of Pisces as well. The penetration's so necessary as we're diving deeper into the layers of our alignment and of our calling or of things that we want to achieve in life. Today's definitely bringing so much of that to the surface, and especially with Mercury meeting up with Venus today and getting very close to Pluto tomorrow. This 2 days with the stellium up here with Mercury, Venus, and Pluto is such a deep dive, and we get that with the moon in Scorpio. Talk about just really penetrating. I mean, it's such a penetrating day. There's action and decisions made on penetrating into your passions, into boundaries. A lot of this deals with boundaries, with Scorpio energy, with Capricorn energy. We have to define in our personal life our boundaries of the structure and the alignment that are where are we closing out 2021? Today's really closing doors so that you can find the best door right now. So I feel like it's a deep dive day, but there's gifts in the connections that are in alignment. There's gift in even getting into your own deep-rooted security of yourself and how that aligns you, because we do have Venus retrograde. So much of the structures that we're working towards right now are based upon this strong relationship to self. And Aquarius can also be a group of one. So yes, it's people, yes, it's innovation and friends and all that, but it's also your uniqueness and your individual specialties in life and how we're all unique and special. And that group of one can innovate so much. So a lot of this is about decisions that are penetrating into decisions with people, with jobs, with careers, with destiny, with the physical realm that we're trying to mold and manipulate into what I would say as individuals we truly want. Now, this is different for so many people. We all have different things going on. We all have different missions. We're all unique and special. So this is where we got to really penetrate into the core of what we want today and take action for that on a Mars day, on a Tuesday. And even Mars is on Antares, finishing up that conjunction And that is the heart of the Scorpion, the big red giant. It's a beautiful star and probably one of the most pronounced constellations you can see in the sky of Scorpius. Of course you can't see it right now, but spring, summer, fall, you sure can, and it's beautiful right in front of the Milky Way galaxy. So, we're really getting into this adventure, penetrating into different ways that feel aligned to get to the top of the mountain, being able to adapt to what that is. And even the moon will quincunx over to the north node as well, as the nodes are squaring Jupiter, as Jupiter makes this ingress. And I'll talk about Jupiter a lot tomorrow. I feel like we don't get a ton of that energy of the ingress today. However, we do, get this edgy Aquarian energy of how we can open up the right doors to our innovative futures and become this powerful and intelligent group of one, or linking up in alignment with the right people and the right relationships that are feeling as if it is all connected and as it is all one. But there's this penetrative force today that's going to show, and it can feel like something's bubbling up to the surface in one way or another. And of course, this can come back to our own vulnerabilities, as the sun is a degree away from the square over to Chiron in Aries. So we're definitely getting this very deep look at our identification of self and where we feel strong, where we don't feel strong, how we feel like we can push forward, what we can achieve, what we can't. So there's a black and white to today too, especially with the moon coming into Scorpio and so much of the Plutonian aspects within our mind, like within our physical values, our mind, and how we're understanding where we have power, where we don't. And it's black and white. So it's like we need to stop giving our power to things that clearly we don't want to identify with, or are not part of the mission, or are not taking us higher or further in life. Today's a big, penetrative, deep dive. Probably feel it in your root chakra of what you need to progress forward with, and what the innovations are, and what the expanse is, and what is simply not. And yes, that can feel like death energy, rebirth energy. But I think there's something to be excited about, that rebirth of seeing deep within our core of what feels in alignment and what does not, and penetrating for what does, and saying goodbye to what does not. And, it doesn't have to be, of course, saying goodbye could be a sad time, but looking forward to, when you say goodbye, there's always something on the horizon. And this Mars in Sagittarius definitely wants to go off on the horizon and see what's out there. It is starting to quincunx Uranus, though. So there's impulsive decisions and impulsive action that wants to be had for this horizon, for these great values. But, we do want to plan some things out. On the other side of that is Mars is sextile Saturn this week, and within a degree of that sextile. So it's not just about the jump. It's about really getting to the bottom, to the core. And steady. Anything steady right now is going to last. Anything that's not steady or just erratic or explosive, it's not going to last. So that we can look for cheap thrills, I would say, with that Mars quincunx Uranus. Cheap thrills that are going to make us feel good or bring some sustenance into our life. But it's deeper than that. There's deeper, sort of smarter decisions that might take more time, but it's putting your energy into those things that are going to have this full connection, that are going to be able to get you to wherever the story's going, that make more sense. So it's about being very practical in the expanse, and not just, I'm going to just blow this up. Like, this is deeper than that. So we got to get really deep to the core of changes that need to be made, or of things that need to be shifted around, that are gonna, in the end, even though they might look scary, bring us more security moving forward. So definitely a very, there's a lot going on in the astrology, I would say, a ton when you look at it. But I like the energy. Even Black Moon Lilith just kind of wreaking havoc in Cancer and opposing the sun this week, and there's T-square energy to that Chiron. So there's a lot of energy about our identification of ourself, and if we have the emotional security and the physical dedication to pursue what we know will unlock doors in our life, and it can feel very vulnerable, it can feel very, very deep, and getting into what makes us feel secure, and how we have to really look at that from a penetrative perspective. If whatever that security is, does it really hold true to where you want things to go? Or is it something that is almost a part of programming, or almost a part of just what, the world thinks? This is about really getting to the core of what you need. And that's the only way to get into the true alignment. And it can feel very, very intense. Today's got intensity galore, but I think that intensity, pressure, sure, it can burst pipes, but it also creates diamonds. So I think in some ways this Tuesday there's this divine diamond trying to be molded and kind of pressurized to existence in your life. And it comes through making very smart choices for what you want to dedicate to, and to not kind of dedicate or put alignment into just what other people want, or just some sense of false security in the world. This is really getting into the core of what brings you security today. So definitely a pretty intense Tuesday, but I think we got this. I am going to pull some tarot, but I got this deck. It's the Wild Harmonic Oracle deck. My good friend and a spiritual mentor of mine, Gabe, I do have a box over here. He just put this out and got it published. So I will put a link in my description if anybody's interested. I think it's on Amazon. It's out there. It's really cool. I'm so stoked that it showed up. I know he worked his butt off for years, and he did all the art, and he wrote this book, and it's absolutely amazing work. So I'm going to pull that oracle on top of the tarot, and I'm probably going to use this deck a lot. I want to kind of show it off, just because I really appreciate his work. And yeah, so hey, connections, people, going for their desires, their dreams, making those manifestations come to life is so special. So definitely want to give a shout out to Gabe for that, and I hope you enjoy his deck. I haven't used this. Is gonna be the first time I pulled from it, and I'm super excited. I haven't even looked at all the cards. It's amazing what he did with that deck. Wow, we got the Chariot reversed. We just pulled this not too long ago. This is, again, getting really tight with how you feel about the direction you want to go. It's not so much about just the jump and the destruction of what once was. There's aspects of what once was that are still very important on the journey forward, but we got to make sure that we're getting really tight with where the divine is trying to take us, or where our egos, trying to take us. So it's getting in alignment with ego desires and a deeper sense of spiritual desires or a higher purpose desire, and getting those in alignment, because that's where the genius is at. And that's where you're going to have so much strength to go forward into the new. But it's not just blow things up to blow things up. Like, figure out the root cause for what we're really getting into. And the Wild Oracle, Spirit of Spirit, Experimental Inquiry. Dope, right? See, there's so many different things to weigh out right now, and they can all have this one sort of weight. I actually pulled two, so I'll pull that one in a second. There's different ways to find alignment. It doesn't have to be just this and this to equal the scales. There's all these little, whatever these energy balls are, they weigh the same as the one. So this is about really penetrating into all the little things that are going to put you in alignment with the one. And it is an experiment. And I think we want to be open to trying some different things out to see what brings us into alignment, without just blowing something up because of a belief that we'll end up in alignment. But to really, I love Spirit of Spirit on a 7-degree day. There's the spiritual alignment that's going to help you come into that balance today. And then we got the Celestial of Spirit. Yeah, Spirit's showing up a bunch. Leap of Faith. So it kind of reminds me of the Hanged Man in a way, but there's different perspectives to come into focus of what it is we're trying to ultimately open up in our celestial world, in our celestial mind. And, there's a leap of faith aspect, but it's a leap of faith from spirit. It's not just a leap of faith from the ego. Today's more about getting in touch with where your guidance and your spirit is trying to take you, and not just letting the ego force your hand in a direction that you don't want to go, but to come into alignment with a much deeper perspective. And that's where we're going to find the go button, you know. So I do hope that you enjoyed this horoscope. I love you all very much. Can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Have a beautiful day. Much love. Peace.